Starscream Kills presents in a Geeky Guy production. Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick update on the Vamp It Up deck and how it's been working on MTGO, which is nice because it's a much larger meta. I'm going to show you an example of against a very comparable sort of aggro type deck, and also against a Grixis burn deck, which sort of acted like a slide, so you get an idea of how it's going to work against that. What you won't see, that I wish I had examples of, is I did it against a mid-range deck that was mono green. It did really well against that, partly because I understand in mid-range you sort of want the three Bs: blockers, builders, and busters. And the blockers are just chumps that get in the way for the builders to ramp up the mana, for the busters to come out and slam and be the fatties to slam down your opponent. And they didn't really have any blockers, so it was pretty easy to walk on them. I also played 2 games against an opponent today, and they had more of an enchantment, almost a Naya or Bant enchantment deck, and it was really good, but I did do well and won both those games. So I wish I could show you those. I wasn't recording those for that. I'm sorry. But against the Sly deck, that should be a real eye-opener, because I barely won that one. You won't see the win in it, but you'll see that I do get down to 7 life in that game before I start to pull things around. It just was really, really ugly, and if they were not landlocked, I would have lost. And so that's a thing to note when it comes to this deck. So without further ado, let me show you some of those games. So this is a good hand, so I'm going to try to play this. So let's see what they do. Oops, swamp. Oh, duress. They want to look at my crap, and they'll be able to kick the one or two cards. Let's see which one they want. So they're taking a long time, but you get a basic idea of what's happened. And they got rid of the blood tributes. You're going to see this is a relatively quick game. Boom, pay, out it comes. I'll be able to stick out a second Lacerator on turn 2. I mean, this is just a very fast deck, and that's the bit of it. So they're going to have to really struggle to go with it. The card they could have taken at this point, that's the card I would want them to take. Feast of Blood is nice. So, oh, they're waiting for me. Oops. This game has been over that quick in turn 5. I reduced him down to 9 health. He killed a couple of my vampires, but he kind of got landlocked. This is a really fast deck. So let's draw, see what the next card would have been. Silent Blood. Yeah, I was sitting pretty good, but I was land hurt. So that was the aggro deck that was very similar to the Vamp It Up. Now I want to show you the Grixis burn deck that I was talking about. Okay, this is the Vamp It Up deck in action. As you can see, it's pretty quick. Got a turn 1, got a Lacerator out. Now they're bringing out a Mountain. So I was thinking I was having really good board advantage, and maybe they just forgotten to put down a creature, and then all of a sudden tapping, and they're going to lightning bolt my Lacerator, or me, directly. Okay. Well, after getting lightning bolted directly in turn 3, and then also being hit by my own Lacerator, turn 4 did not get too much better when the Lacerator was terminated himself. You into aggro? Okay, terminate. Then I went ahead and put out a Vampire Nighthawk Shaman, only for him to be terminated as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they have an entire burn deck. What'd I tell you? I think the Lord is actually the safest thing to put out. crap. That's not what I needed. So I made a gambit by putting out a Vampire Nocturnus with the hopes that the up face-up card would be black. No such luck, it was a swamp, and they resoundingly thundered him into oblivion. Finally put out the Gatekeeper of Malachar and thought, well, at least that'll buy me some time if they zap that vampire. But then they went ahead and directly hit me with the Blightning. Let them fry that. If they don't, I can use it for the kicker, Blood Tribute. But I think it's going to go down, watch. Oh, the Blightning me, okay. However, he wasn't to be outdone, and Burst Lightning the Gatekeeper of Malachar in turn 8, and then went ahead and also hit me with a lightning bolt as well, all at one go. And so I've been holding on to a couple cards and having some good plans for them, only for turn 9 to be hit with the Blightning and having to throw them both away. In closing, these are some interesting games that say a lot about this Vamp It Up aggro deck. It's a very fast deck. The Feast and Blood is much better than Tendrils of Corruption because of the 2 mana, because you could, in turn 3, if you got mana lock, Lacerator, Feast of Blood, and you can really get in there with your vampires and rip things up. Some decks that I have concerns about this doing well against is control decks, especially ones that have the builders, the builders and the busters all in the right proportions. I think it could really slow down the deck if it could do that. If you can run this deck out of steam, you can take it down. I think a well-orchestrated deck like that, a denial deck, a permission deck, could really stop it in its tracks. However, like some of the folks have said on blackborder.com, Zendikar is favors a fast aggro attack. Offense is the best defense strategy. Still, I think there's always a place for control, and this deck just probably will not do so well against that. When I have been in denial situations where people are kicking my cards into my graveyard and things like this, and have ways to do, I guess it's called hate, take care of people's graveyards and things like that, if you were to put in the Bloodghasts for mid-range games because they keep coming back with landfall. I don't know. I think this deck can be ran out of steam, so you've got to get it out, get it there, and get it quick. Other options, when the mono green control deck did run Howling Mine, it really helped me more than them. So I don't know. That could be something to throw in. I'm not quite sure where to go with it. This is just some of my experience, and I wanted to share it with you. This deck is good, but it does have its limitations. It is not the answer to all things. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you around.